Welcome to our exploration of how the 12 apostles died, a journey into the lives, missions, and ultimate sacrifices of those closest to Jesus Christ. Each apostle played a unique role in spreading the gospel, often facing intense persecution and trials for their faith. While some details come from historical records and early Christian tradition, each story highlights the apostles' dedication and courage as they remained faithful even unto death. Join us as we uncover the final chapters of these remarkable lives and the legacy of faith they left behind. Peter's name comes from the Greek word Petros, meaning rock or stone. Simon means he has heard in Hebrew. Jesus renamed Simon to Peter, signifying that he would be the rock upon which Christ would build his church. Matthew 16:18. His name reflects his foundational role in early Christianity. Death. Peter is believed to have been crucified upside down in Rome around 64 AD under Emperor Nero. He requested to be crucified upside down, feeling unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus. Source: early church fathers, including Tertullian and Origen, support this tradition. Faithfulness in the face of persecution. Peter. Despite knowing the dangers of proclaiming the gospel in hostile territories, Peter continued to preach and eventually chose to die for his faith. His crucifixion, upside down at his own request, reflects humility and unwavering faith. True faithfulness may lead us into difficult situations, but holding firm to our beliefs can inspire others and show the depth of our conviction. Andrew. His name is derived from the Greek Andreas, meaning manly or courageous. Significance: Andrew's name reflects his boldness in bringing people to Christ, including his brother Peter. His courage is evident in his missionary work and eventual martyrdom. Death. Andrew is traditionally believed to have been crucified on an X-shaped cross in Patmos, Greece. According to tradition, he preached to onlookers for 2 days before he died. Source: early Christian writings and traditions. Selfless service. Andrew, who died preaching on an X-shaped cross, remained focused on sharing the gospel, even in his final moments. He continued to preach for days after his crucifixion, emphasizing his dedication to service over personal comfort or survival. Selfless service to others and to God's mission brings purpose, even in the face of suffering, and leaves a lasting impact on those who witness it. James the Greater, son of Zebedee. James' name is derived from the Hebrew Yaakov, Jacob, meaning supplanter or one who follows. Significance: James was one of Jesus' closest apostles and a prominent leader. His name reflects his role as a follower of Christ, even unto his early martyrdom. Death. James was the first apostle to be martyred, reportedly beheaded by King Herod Agrippa I in Jerusalem around 44 AD. Source: the New Testament, Acts 12:1-2, records his martyrdom. Boldness in proclaiming the truth. James the Greater. James was the first apostle to be martyred. His willingness to face death boldly for the gospel demonstrated to other believers the importance of proclaiming the truth without fear. Boldness in our convictions is essential, especially when facing opposition. Our courage can strengthen others' faith. John, son of Zebedee. John's name comes from the Hebrew Yochanan, meaning God is gracious. Significance: John's writings, especially his emphasis on God's love, grace, and truth, align with the meaning of his name. He was also called the beloved disciple. Death. John is traditionally believed to have died a natural death around 100 AD in Ephesus. According to tradition, he survived being boiled in oil in Rome and was later exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. Source: early church writers like Tertullian and Jerome. Endurance and patience. John, who faced boiling oil in exile but lived to a natural death, displayed endurance throughout his life. His resilience allowed him to write Revelation, providing lasting hope and vision for future believers. Patience and endurance through trials enable us to fulfill our purpose and can bring wisdom and revelation to benefit future generations. Philip's name derived from the Greek Philippos, meaning lover of horses. Significance: although the meaning doesn't directly connect to Philip's role, he was passionate in his mission, quickly responding to Jesus' call and bringing others to him. Death. Philip is believed to have been crucified or stoned to death in Hierapolis, modern-day Turkey, after converting the wife of a local official. Source: early Christian tradition recorded by early church historians. Courage to speak even when unpopular. Philip's ministry led to his eventual crucifixion, but his courage to speak the gospel, even at the cost of his life, illustrates the courage needed to share truth in difficult circumstances. Speaking truth, especially when it's unpopular, may come with risks, but it is a testament to our commitment to what we believe is right. Bartholomew, also known as Nathanael. Bartholomew means son of Talmai in Aramaic. Nathanael means gift of God in Hebrew. Significance: Nathanael's interaction with Jesus in John 1:47-49 reflects his faith and openness to God's revelation. As a gift of God, he was an early believer in Jesus as the Son of God. Death: tradition holds that Bartholomew was either flayed alive and beheaded or crucified in Armenia or India, where he preached. Source: traditions recorded by early church fathers. Willingness to sacrifice for the sake of others. Bartholomew. Bartholomew, who reportedly faced brutal torture for his faith, remained steadfast. His sacrifice shows an unwavering commitment to the gospel and a willingness to endure personal pain for others' spiritual gain. Our willingness to sacrifice for others' sake demonstrates the strength of our love and devotion to our mission. Thomas, also known as Didymus. Thomas is Aramaic for twin, and Didymus is the Greek equivalent, also meaning twin. Significance: known for his skepticism, Thomas's doubt and eventual belief after touching Jesus' wounds emphasize a balanced, searching faith that ultimately affirmed Jesus' resurrection. Death: Thomas is believed to have been martyred by spearing in India around 72 AD, where he established a Christian community. Source: Indian Christian tradition and writings of early church historians. Commitment to the calling: Thomas. Known for his initial doubt, Thomas traveled to India, far from his homeland, to spread the gospel, eventually dying as a martyr. His story shows that even those who struggle with doubt can fulfill a great calling. Our commitment to God's calling is not limited by our doubts. Rather, dedication through doubt can lead us to fulfill extraordinary purposes. Matthew, also known as Levi. Matthew means gift of Yahweh in Hebrew. Levi may mean joined or attached. Significance: as a former tax collector transformed by Jesus, Matthew's life reflects his name's meaning, becoming a gift through his gospel account and evangelism. Death: tradition holds that Matthew was either stabbed to death or beheaded while on a missionary journey in Ethiopia or Persia. Source: early church traditions with differing accounts. Humility and service: Matthew. Matthew, who abandoned his life as a tax collector to follow Jesus, later died for his faith. His humility and willingness to give up wealth and status for the gospel show the importance of prioritizing spiritual values over worldly success. True humility and a willingness to leave behind personal gain for a greater purpose reflect a life centered on spiritual rather than material wealth. James the Lesser, son of Alphaeus. James, from Yaakov, means supplanter, known as the Lesser to distinguish him from James the Greater. Significance: though lesser known, James faithfully served alongside Jesus. His name may signify humility and an unwavering commitment to his role as an apostle. Death: James is traditionally believed to have been stoned and clubbed to death in Jerusalem. Another tradition holds that he was thrown from the temple and then beaten to death. Source: early Christian sources like Josephus and Hegesippus. Loyalty to Christ above all else: James the Lesser. James, whose death was violent and public, remained loyal to Jesus. Tradition holds that he refused to renounce his faith, choosing loyalty to Christ over his own safety. Loyalty to our beliefs, even when it costs us everything, reflects the depth of our devotion and can inspire others to remain loyal to their convictions. Thaddaeus, also known as Jude or Judas, son of James. Thaddaeus may mean heart or courageous in Aramaic. Jude or Judas, from Yehuda, means praised. Significance: Thaddaeus was courageous in preaching despite hostility, and as praised, he is honored in his role as one of Jesus' followers. Death: Thaddaeus is believed to have been martyred in Persia, modern-day Iran, by being beaten with clubs or hacked to death alongside Simon the Zealot. Source: early Christian tradition, perseverance in the face of suffering. Thaddaeus. Thaddaeus reportedly faced brutal martyrdom alongside Simon the Zealot. Their perseverance to continue ministering, even when faced with such opposition, exemplifies steadfast faith. Perseverance through trials not only strengthens our own faith, but can serve as a powerful example of resilience to others. Simon the Zealot. Simon means he has heard, and Zealot indicates his association with the Jewish nationalist Zealot group. Significance. Simon's zeal reflects a passionate dedication to God's kingdom, eventually redirecting his commitment to following Christ. Death. Simon is traditionally believed to have been martyred either by crucifixion or being sawed in half in Persia while on a missionary journey with Thaddaeus. Source: early Christian tradition and church historians. Unity and collaboration in ministry. Simon the Zealot. Simon's work with Thaddaeus in hostile regions required mutual trust, collaboration, and unity. Their joint efforts, even in the face of danger, demonstrate the power of partnership in ministry. Unity and collaboration with others amplify our efforts and help us remain strong in challenging situations. Matthias, replacement for Judas Iscariot. Matthias is derived from the Hebrew Mattityahu, meaning gift of Yahweh. Significance. Chosen to replace Judas, Matthias's name aligns with his role as a gift to the apostles, restoring their number to 12 and bringing stability to their group. Death. Matthias is traditionally believed to have been stoned and then beheaded in Jerusalem or possibly Ethiopia while preaching. Source: early church traditions. Trust in God's will under Matthias. Chosen to replace Judas, Matthias stepped into his role with faith, eventually facing martyrdom for his commitment. His willingness to serve, despite knowing the dangers, shows a deep trust in God's plan. Trusting God's will, even when it leads into the unknown, allows us to fulfill our purpose with peace and confidence, knowing that our lives are in His hands. The lives and sacrifices of the apostles teach us courage, resilience, humility, and unwavering faith. Their commitment reminds us of the profound impact a life of dedication can have on others and the legacy it leaves for generations to come. As we conclude our look into how the 12 apostles died, we hope their stories have inspired a deeper appreciation for the strength and faith these early followers showed. Their willingness to sacrifice everything for the gospel reminds us of the power of true conviction and dedication to Christ. Thank you for joining us in honoring their lives and legacy. If you found this content meaningful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the lives of key biblical figures, and be sure to hit the notification bell to stay updated. May the apostles' courage and faith inspire you on your own spiritual journey.